Thought of a new idea today, and this new idea has to do with the idea of compassion. Because I was trying to contrast what is community and how do you differentiate that from governments, from what's happening now? For example, when we look at the homeless people that are on the street that are dying of fentanyl or they're freezing to death outside in cities all across America this winter, is the government doing what it should be doing? Is the government Isn't shouldn't the government shouldn't they take care of us? Isn't that like an obvious part of the deal? And maybe there's a lot of things that they say, oh, we got this project, we got this program going, this person has a quality, blah, blah, blah. They're incompetent if you've got human beings that are dying on the streets of our country while ridiculous things like ballrooms are being done or wars that are have absolutely no need to go and attack nations on the other side of the planet. Absolutely no need to waste soldiers. You know, these guys are loyal. These soldiers are so loyal. They'll go and kill anybody or they'll go. It's a job and they're getting paid to do it, right? That's how they make a living. And so they'll risk their own lives to get killed, and they're living under this in this bubble of democracy or those are the bad guys. It's all totally not true. Our soldiers are young, healthy men and women that are of fighting age and fighting ability, and they're bright when it comes to things like that. They should be at home. They should be in America helping to solve the problems that we have in America. Because look at it, we have huge problems. I lived in China off and on for 25 years, and I visited America in the meantime. And it's ridiculous how better run China is when it comes to infrastructure and when it comes to war, when it comes to so many things. They're running things so much better. And Americans don't know that. Most of them, they live in a bubble, especially the military. And they don't realize how actually America is falling apart, how the train system absolutely sucks. Go to China and take a train. Even the bus system, even the highways, even the bridges. It's amazing how the problems there are with the police fighting against and the racism, Americans say that there is no racism or they have that. It's ridiculous. There's terrible racism. There's an incredible, just look at any inner city where there's a lot of Black people that are living in poverty or below the poverty line, or they're struggling, especially the Black areas, because these people are quite aware that the white cops, a lot of times, are just really, really prejudiced. And then it gets worse. You can see the cycle go. Black people get this feeling that they're not being treated well. Guess why? And then the white cops feel like, oh, all these Black people have an attitude. So the Black people blame the white people, the whole white system. And I've even experienced that myself when I'm trying to do community work in areas that are predominantly Black, like the South Side of Chicago, where I was a few years ago. Everything was stolen. My car was attacked. I was almost physically attacked. So these are people that grew up in a belief that it's the white people's fault, and a lot of it is the white system, and that every white person, including myself, who's trying to do good things in communities, is also part of the problem. That I don't know what it's like to be. I don't know what it's like to be anybody but me, and nor do they. They only know what it's like to be them, but they don't know what it's like to be me either. So anyway, there's this huge kind of conflict between the white people and the Black people in America. So racism is a huge problem, and it doesn't need to be at all. And a lot of white people and a lot of Black people know that, and they don't care about skin color. But there are a lot of people that do care about skin color. China's got that, but they've got very few Black people and they've got very few foreigners. So they'll be prejudiced against me in general. Most Chinese would be prejudiced against me as a Western guy, as an American guy. And they would look at me in a certain way and they treat me a certain way. And I don't have equal rights in China. And I've been to 61 countries now. I don't have equal rights in most of those countries. And in America, I have an advantage because I'm a white guy. So this is the way the world is. But when we have a strong community, we can we have a framework where we know, let's work together. Let's ignore racism. Let's ignore skin color. Let's deal completely on merit. It doesn't matter who the person is. If they're doing bad stuff, they'll be held accountable for that. It doesn't matter what color the person is. If they're doing good stuff, they're thanked and appreciated. And we feel gratitude towards people who commit themselves to making the world a better place through contributing through community. So anyway, uh, looking at the projects that are going on right now, there's a lot of really good work. I'm especially tuned into the Invisible People. That's Mark Horvath, and he's doing a great job. And I hope when I come to the States, because I'm in Asia right now, I hope when I come to the States, I'll be able to find him. I'll be able to meet him. I'll be able to go to whatever city he's in. I don't know where he's going to be. That's going to be maybe in May 2026 or June 2026. And I'd like to go see him and talk with him because he's an absolute expert on the homeless problem. And homelessness is an indication. It's like a litmus test. It's like the canary in the coal mine. You know, you got a dead canary, you better get the heck out of there. You got dead people from fentanyl, you better solve that problem because they're all human beings that deserve compassion. They deserve a happy life. They deserve an opportunity. Now, some of us are in an unfortunate situation. Maybe some people are veterans of war. They risk their lives to go fight another country. And now, how is the country, America, how are they treating them? How are they being treated? I mean, they're willing to do the biggest sacrifice that anybody can do, and that is dying or suffering a lot and dying or losing a limb. And what? Now these guys are living on the street, some of them in a wheelchair, some of them with PTSD. If I was in a situation where I was getting shot at or bombs dropped on my head or my vehicle blown up while I'm driving down the road in another country, first of all, I wouldn't want to go there. I would find a way not to go and fight for the military because I don't agree with wars. But what if I did do that for whatever reason and I end up getting hurt or getting totally traumatized? And then I come back to the country that I served and they treat me like crap. I don't even have a home. I don't have a place to live. I don't have food on the table. I got a bag. I got to hold up a piece of cardboard that says, "Oh, I fought in the war. Hungry, homeless vet. Please help." Begging for help from the country that you sacrificed your life for? Are you kidding me? And I could say for hours all the different things like, "Are you kidding me?" And one of the obvious things, like I said, the litmus test, the canary in the coal mine, we got people living on the street. And the people that are able to live in homes, even nice homes, they don't care because you know what? Most of them have never experienced that. And so they don't understand. There used to be a joke out here, "Oh, get a job." Well, for a lot of people, that's not possible. Not they don't have a network. They don't have the emotional stability. They don't have a place where they can stay and stay warm and have nutritious food. And these are thousands and thousands of people across the country, 5, 10,000 in some cities alone, where people, they have to wait in line to get a shelter, and then, oh, the shelter's full, and so they can't stay there. But they waited in line for 3 hours, or they're waiting in line to get a meal, or there's some church that's trying to look good because they're so hypocritical, and the church will give them a Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday. How many meals do people eat a year? 365 days. So 3 times 365, right? That's over 1,000. And these people give one meal a year when they're eating 1,000 and they think they're doing something good. And what makes it even worse is they're preaching their dogma, their ridiculous dogma to these people. as if the dogma makes any difference. And if their God existed, he's letting these people live on the street and sleep in the snow or a tent, or let the police come by every couple of days and steal all their stuff, or some bad guy who's living out there on the street as well. People constantly getting their stuff stolen. They don't have ID. Why? Because some guy came and stole their stuff while they were outside or while they were sleeping or something like that. Living on the street, if you don't know it, if you can't imagine it, think about it. Look at some videos on YouTube. People living on it's a horrible, horrible life, and nobody deserves it. We all deserve compassion. We all deserve love. We all deserve to be taken care of, even if we have PTSD, especially if we have PTSD or we have some other problem. You don't throw people away. You don't ignore people. You don't make up ridiculous, ridiculous jokes, ridiculous excuses. You don't make these things up when people say, hey, look at the people on the street. And so, because we don't have strong communities, communities can actually work together and solve these problems. Don't fill out the paperwork and send it to your local government representative and hope for this or that. No, we're not asking permission. Communities get together and they work hard. They meet, they cooperate with each other, and they have compassion, and they can solve these problems in a minute. So most problems can be solved in a minute. I'm not saying all the homeless people in a given city, in a given town. I'm just talking about this individual. Okay, we've got this one place that they can go and they can stay there. The real estate market, I won't get into it right now, but the whole way the real estate system works, it's like the money system. It really is a cold-hearted and only serves the shrewd, the lucky, the manipulative. And people exploit the real estate system. I know people that do real estate. I've met a lot of people through the years. Buy a house, buy another house, and fix it up. What do they call it? Switching houses or turning houses or something. Flipping. They call it flipping. And they'll flip real estate. So they buy something that's underpriced because it looks like hell. Then they go in and clean it up, and then they can make a big profit on it. And they got the time, they got the money, they can do that. What about people that are struggling? What about people that are struggling with some addiction? What if they don't have an addiction? Well, there's a lot of men out there that are living under freeways because their wife left them, because they lost their job. As simple as that. For whatever reason, during COVID or during whenever they lost their job. Who knows? Maybe the boss was an idiot. Maybe their company was failing. They were downsizing. Whatever. They lose their job. The wife leaves them, takes the kids, takes the house. So the guy's living under the freeway. And we don't have a system that we're using that comes from the top, the government, to help these people. I saw a video today about a guy who had his wife died, and he was left with an $85,000 hospital bill. And the debt collectors actually found him where he's living on the street because now he's homeless, and served him papers. You got to pay this $85,000 hospital bill. The guy's homeless. How is he supposed to pay that? And you know that the whole hospital system is all messed up because you're paying ridiculous prices. What did I hear? Something about somebody had a can of soda, and every can of soda was like $36 or something like that in the hospital. It's completely ridiculously out of control, and there's no accountability. And there's no accountability for the government. Well, my opinion is we have stronger communities. When we have stronger communities, we can take care of each other much better than somebody in Washington, D.C., or somebody who's, manipulating the stock market, but from their government job. Somebody with a guaranteed salary, guaranteed retirement. Huge amount of money goes to these people that work so little. Some of them work hard. Some of them are trying to change the system, but I don't think you can change it from the top. I think it's a waste of time. I think communities, grassroots movements, individuals in a community can get together and say, let's get this person a wheelchair. Each person kicks in 20 bucks. Let's get this person a tiny home. Let's help to get this person into rehab. Let's build another shelter. It's not that much to build a shelter. At least get people off the street. I wouldn't want to live in a shelter for very long, but it's better than living on the street in the snow. But it's better to have a tiny home. And if you've got a job, you've got some income, you've got some way to do it, how about better than a tiny home? We all deserve compassion. We all deserve. It's not about human rights. Don't get on this legal uh, confusing legal terms about is clean water a human right or is this or that. Don't get it because when you get into that legal stuff, it just objectifies a human being. You're no longer a human, you're a number. And you're dealing with people that put these rules and they put these laws together. They rarely have ever experienced any problems like this. They don't know and they don't care because they got their nice big house and they got their nice stable job. They got their easy life, they got their vacations. So when it comes to does someone have is it a human right to damn right it's your right because every human being deserves to sleep under a roof instead of under the rain. Every single human being deserves that. If you're coming from compassion, so communities normally they come from compassion. They care. They say, "Oh, look at this guy sitting outside that fast food restaurant, hungry, begging for food. Look at that guy. Is that right? Would I like that for myself? Because this is how we can say, does somebody deserve something? Do I deserve it? I've known many millionaires, and I'm trying to do this community project, that community project. Why don't you just get a job? I worked at McDonald's when I was 16. Why don't you just get a job? Do that? Do minimum wage? No. I have other projects. I have other things that I'm working on. But they don't care. They'll say, hey, they're not doing it. They're not going to do it. So when we look at the golden rule, which I think is a very, very important and underappreciated understanding of how the world works and how the world can work and how life works. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? So if you don't want to live on the street, let's not talk about legislation. Let's just take some action. Let's make it happen. If you don't want to work for a minimum wage and sleep in your car because you don't have enough money to pay rent because rents are ridiculous now, why should other people do that? Every individual should know I deserve to have a roof over my head. And I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to make that happen. I'm willing to help out in the community greenhouse or help out in the community shops or help out in what do they have these things, these soup kitchen or whatever local community things that are going on. And in return, they should be able to have a roof over their head because they're contributing to community. Not about being sharp in the stock market. It's not about being good with this or that trade. So many of these things are going away with AI. Excuse me. So many of these things are going away with AI anyway. It's all going away. So many things about jobs. We never needed jobs. This whole thing about, the unemployment index, all this stuff, that's all 100% irrelevant because we can trade with other people. We can contribute to humanity. We can contribute to community. And they in turn will contribute to us. We've lost that peer-to-peer. In fact, they've even made it illegal. And the government has tried to tax that when you try to use some kind of a barter system. Forget it. It's not the government's job. It's not the government's responsibility. And what the government is supposed to be doing, I'm talking about the US government because I know it the best. They're absolutely, completely failing at taking care of people. To imagine that people are sleeping on the streets by the hundreds of thousands in America, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So we need to take action ourselves. And that's what abetterworld.diy. Go to the website, check it out. There's a project right now that's in the Northeast corridor that's between Washington, D.C. and Connecticut. And let's see, what's the city in Connecticut where we're thinking about doing a project? Uh, it's called North End, which is in Hartford. So that's on the north end of the northeast corridor, and then the south end is near Washington, D.C., where there's the Anacostia neighborhood that we're going to be looking at. I think it's called the bigger area is Ward 5. And so we're going to be going into there in a few months and working on building community because we have a software platform, excuse me, software platform, a website that can connect like nobody has right now. Nobody has it. Nobody's seen it. It's a platform to connect everybody on every level in a community. So you can cooperate, you can work together, you can share, you can barter, you can buy and sell, you can find help, you can give help. All of these things, it's an all-encompassing community that's not driven by just trying to make money. It's not about that. It might cost $5 a month or a year or something like that in the future. Right now, it's going to be completely free. But we're going to work on transforming communities to where people can cooperate better. We're going to bring crime down. We're going to bring prejudice and racism down. We're going to bring homelessness down. We're going to make the world a better place, starting with America. And it's through this project, a better world, where we're going to get it started. And we're going to pick 5 communities out of 12 that we've evaluated so far. We'll pick the top 5 where the top interest is. So go there and vote if you care about those. You could be anywhere in the world you could vote for. Oh yeah, I think this one in New York, or I think this one in Baltimore seems like a good place. And you can just vote for free. It takes 10 seconds. And you can, once they get 200 votes, then they become a pilot. Then they're one of the 5. So it's not a big number. This is going to happen pretty quickly once I share, and I'm just starting today to share. Okay, the website's done. Now you can go in and vote. So anyway, look at the link in the description, and they're going to talk about that. Betterworld.diy, how to vote, what to do. You need your email so that we can confirm, so people don't vote more than once, and so that we know that it's you. So you can confirm through email. We send you an email, you click on the link, and then you're done. Okay, then it's confirmed. Your vote is tallied. And so we're starting that now. That's ready to go. So anyway, this is a way that we can build communities. Now, I've been doing community stuff for over 30 years, and this is a new project that's just getting started. So here we are right now. We're in March 12th of 2026. And we're going to do the counting, and then we're going to do a little fundraising after that. Once the counting is done and the voting is complete, then we'll do a little fundraiser, and then we'll start. And we'll be, March, maybe, I don't know how long it's going to take to get the voting done, to get the fundraising done. Maybe May of this year, maybe June, sometime in summer, I think. So anyway, please go ahead and check out the website. See if you feel like voting. See if it seems something interesting to you. Leave comments. Tell me what's going on with you, what you think. If you have good ideas, if you have some criticism, open to any feedback, because we're a community, right? We talk to each other. We share. We say, "Hey, I don't agree with this idea. How about this?" And okay, maybe people have better ideas that are going to be helpful. Whatever. So that's it for now. Thanks for listening. And I'll share the link to the website in the comments here. And I guess that's it for now. Okay. Thanks for listening. See you soon.